Welcome. There are moments in life when everything feels like it's slipping through your fingers. Relationships change. Opportunities disappear. Doors you prayed would open seem to slam shut without warning. And in those moments, it's easy to question everything: your worth, your direction, even your faith. But what if what you're experiencing isn't lost the way you think it is? What if it's actually divine protection? What if what's leaving your life is not punishment but preparation? Sometimes we hold on to things because they feel familiar, not because they are right. We cling to people because of history, not because of destiny. We fight for doors to stay open because we're afraid of what's behind the ones we cannot yet see. But there is a wisdom greater than your understanding, a vision that stretches far beyond your current perspective. And that wisdom knows what cannot go where you are going. You may not understand why certain things are falling apart, but not everything that breaks is meant to be fixed. Some things fall apart so that you can be rebuilt. Some things leave so that you can finally receive. And some things are removed because they were never meant to stay. You've been asking for growth, for elevation, for purpose. But growth often requires pruning. Elevation demands release. Purpose calls for alignment. And alignment means that anything that does not fit your future cannot remain in your present. It doesn't matter how much you love it. It doesn't matter how long it has been a part of your life. If it cannot go with you, it will be taken from you. And that hurts. Let's not pretend it doesn't. Letting go is painful, especially when your heart is involved. Especially when your hat is involved. Especially when you have invested time, energy, and emotion into something you believed would last. But just because something felt right in one season doesn't mean it is right for the next. Seasons change, and so must you. You are not losing everything. You are shedding what you no longer need. You are being refined, not rejected. You are being redirected, not denied. And if you could see what is ahead of you, if you could glimpse the fullness of what is being prepared for you, you would understand why certain things had to go, but you don't see it yet. And that's where faith comes in. Faith is trusting when you don't have all the answers. Faith is releasing your grip even when your heart wants to hold tighter. Faith is believing that what is being removed is making space for something greater, even if you don't know what that greater looks like yet. You've been trying to make things work that were never meant to fit. You've been exhausting yourself trying to force alignment where there is none, and all the while, there has been a gentle but persistent tug, a quiet whisper telling you that something isn't right. You felt it, but you ignored it. You knew it, but you resisted it. Because letting go requires courage, and courage is not always easy to find. But here's the truth: you don't have to force what is meant for you. What is truly yours will not require you to shrink yourself, to compromise your values, or to silence your spirit. What is meant for you will align with you. It will support your growth, not hinder it. It will bring peace, not confusion. So if something is being taken away, ask yourself, was it truly bringing you peace? Was it truly helping you become the person you are called to be? Or were you holding onto it out of fear, out of habit, out of the comfort of the known? Fear will make you cling to things that are no longer serving you. Fear will convince you that this is the best you can have, that there is nothing better waiting for you. But fear is a liar. Fear speaks from limitation, not from truth. And if you allow fear to guide your decisions, you will remain stuck in places you were meant to outgrow. You have to trust that what is being removed is not your portion. It may have felt like it belonged to you. It may have looked like it was meant for you, but not everything that looks good is good for you. Not everything that feels right in the moment is right for your future. There are blessings that require space. There are opportunities that require availability. There are relationships that require a healed version of you. And if your hands are full holding on to what is not meant for you, how will you receive what is? Letting go is not giving up. It is making room. It is saying, I trust that what is leaving is not part of my destiny. It is saying, I believe that what is ahead is greater than what I am releasing. It is saying, even though this hurts, I choose to trust over fear. And trust doesn't mean you won't feel pain. Trust doesn't mean you won't have questions. Trust doesn't mean you won't have moments where you want to go back to what was familiar. But trust means you keep moving forward anyway. Trust means you don't allow temporary discomfort to keep you from permanent growth. You are being stretched. You are being challenged. You are being transformed. And transformation is not comfortable. It requires you to leave behind versions of yourself that you have outgrown. It requires you to walk away from things that once defined you. It requires you to step into the unknown. But the unknown is where your next level is. You cannot step into new blessings with an old mindset. You cannot receive new opportunities while holding on to old limitations. You cannot become who you are meant to be if you are still tied to who you used to be. So let it go. Let go of the relationship that is draining you. Let go of the opportunity that is keeping you stuck. Let go of the expectations that are no longer aligned with your purpose. Let go of the version of yourself that settled for less than you deserved. Let go of the need to understand everything. Let go of the need to control every outcome. Let go of the belief that you have to figure it all out on your own. You are not alone in this process. Even when it feels like everything is uncertain, there is a divine order at work. Things are being rearranged in ways you cannot yet see. Pieces are being moved into place. Doors are being prepared to open at the right time. And just because something is being removed doesn't mean you did something wrong. Sometimes the removal is the answer to a prayer you forgot you prayed. Sometimes it is the protection you didn't know you needed. Sometimes it is the redirection that will lead you exactly where you are meant to be. You have to stop measuring your life by what you are losing and start trusting what you are becoming. Because you are becoming stronger. You are becoming wiser. You are becoming more aligned with your purpose. You are becoming more aware of what you deserve and what you will no longer tolerate. And that version of you cannot carry everything from your past into your future. So when something leaves, don't chase it. Don't beg it to stay. Don't try to force it back into your life. If it was meant to stay, it would. If it was meant to grow with you, it would not be taken from you. Honor what was. Appreciate what it taught you. Be grateful for the role it played in your journey. But don't hold on to it longer than you are supposed to. Because holding on too longer than you are supposed to. Because holding on too long can delay what is meant for you. There is something greater ahead. There is something more aligned, more fulfilling, more purposeful waiting for you. But you have to be willing to release what is no longer serving you in order to receive it. You have to trust the process, even when you don't understand it. You have to believe that what is being removed is not meant to harm you, but to help you. You have to know that what is meant for you will never miss you. So take a deep breath, release the grip, open your hands, and trust that what is leaving is making space for what is truly yours. What feels like loss in your life right now may not be loss at all. It may be alignment happening in a way you didn't expect, because when something leaves, your first instinct is to grieve it, to question it, to wonder what you did wrong or why it couldn't stay. You replay moments in your mind, searching for a different ending, hoping you could have said something, done something, been something that would have made it remain. But not everything that exits your life is meant to be rescued. Some things are meant to be released. There is a difference between nothing being taken from you and something being cleared out for you. And often you cannot tell the difference in the moment because both can feel painful. Both can leave you feeling empty, uncertain, and even afraid. But pain is not always a sign of something bad happening. Sometimes, pain is the signal that something necessary is taking place beneath the surface. You've been taught to hold on, to fight for what you love, to not give up easily. And those lessons have value. But there is also wisdom in knowing when holding on is doing more harm than letting go. Because when you hold on to something that is no longer aligned with your purpose, you begin to shrink to fit it. You start adjusting your standards, silencing your voice, and ignoring your intuition just to keep it in your life. And slowly, without even realizing it, you drift further away from who you are meant to become. Alignment is not always comfortable. In fact, most of the time it feels disruptive. It shakes your routine, it challenges your attachments, it forces you to confront the things you would rather ignore. Because alignment requires honesty about what is working, what is not, and what you have been tolerating out of fear rather than truth. There are things you prayed for that are now being answered, but not in the way you expected. You asked for peace, but peace cannot coexist with chaos that you refuse to release. You asked for growth, but growth requires you to outgrow people, places, and patterns that once felt like home. You asked for purpose, but purpose demands that anything misaligned be removed so that you can fully step into what you were created for. And so, what feels like loss is often the answer. What feels like something being taken away is actually something being taken out of the way. Because there are places you are meant to go that certain things cannot follow. The persist what levels you are meant to reach that require a lighter load. There are versions of you waiting to emerge that cannot exist in the same space as what you are holding on to. It's hard to accept that something you valued, something you invested in, something you believed in, is no longer meant for you. Because your heart doesn't always understand what your spirit already knows. Your heart remembers the good moments, the comfort, the familiarity, but your spirit recognizes the misalignment, the tension, the quiet knowing that something isn't quite right anymore. And when you ignore that knowing, life has a way of stepping in, not to punish you, but to protect you. Not to hurt you, but to help you. Because sometimes you won't walk away on your own, even when you know you should. Sometimes you need something to be removed so that you can finally move forward. It doesn't mean it wasn't real. It doesn't mean it didn't matter. It doesn't mean it didn't have a purpose in your life. Everything you experienced served a role. Everything you held on to taught you something. Everything that came into your life contributed to your growth in some way. But not everything is meant to stay forever. Some things are seasonal. They come into your life to teach you, to shape you, to prepare you. And once that purpose is fulfilled, they must go. Not because they are bad, but because they are complete. And holding on to something that has completed its purpose can prevent you from stepping into what comes next. You have to trust that there is a bigger picture being formed, one that you cannot fully see from where you stand right now. Because if you could see what is ahead, if you could understand how everything is being orchestrated for your good, you would not fight so hard to keep what is leaving. You would not beg for doors to stay open, that are meant to close. You would not try to rebuild things that are meant to fall apart. But you don't see it yet, and that's what makes it difficult. You are being asked to trust without having all the details. You are being asked to release without knowing what will replace it. You are being asked to believe that what is ahead is better even when what you had felt good. And that kind of trust requires faith. Not a passive faith, but an active one. A faith that chooses to believe even when your emotions are pulling you in the opposite direction. A faith that reminds you that your life is not random, that there is intention behind every shift, every change, every removal. You are not being abandoned. You are being aligned. There is a version of your life that is waiting for you. One that is more peaceful, more fulfilling, more in tune with who you are meant to be, but that version requires space. It requires that you let go of what is heavy, what is draining, what is no longer serving you, because you cannot carry everything into your future. Some things have to be left behind. And it's okay to grieve. It's okay to feel the loss, to acknowledge the pain, to process the emotions that come with letting go. But don't let grief convince you that what left was meant to stay. Don't let pain rewrite the truth. Just because it hurts doesn't mean it was right for you. There are times when what you lose is exactly what was holding you back. Times when what leaves creates the very breakthrough you have been waiting for. Times when what is removed clears the path for something you could not have accessed otherwise, but you have to be willing to see it that way. You have to be willing to shift your perspective from why is this happening to me to what is this making room for, because that question opens you up to possibility. It moves you out of a place of resistance and into a place of acceptance. Resistance will keep you stuck in the past, trying to recreate something that is no longer meant for you. But acceptance allows you to move forward, to embrace what is coming, to step into the unknown with a sense of trust rather than fear. You are not behind. You are not missing out. You are not being left with less. You are being positioned for more clarity, more alignment, more purpose. But more requires that you release what is not part of it. And sometimes, the hardest part is not letting go of the thing itself, but letting go of the idea you had about it. The future you imagined, the expectations you built, the story you told yourself about how it would all turn out. Because when that doesn't happen, it feels like more than just a loss. It feels like a disruption of your vision. But your vision is limited. It is shaped by what you can see, what you have experienced, what you think is possible. And there is a greater vision for your life that goes beyond that. A vision that includes things you haven't even imagined yet. A vision that requires different paths, different connections, different circumstances. And in order for that vision to unfold, certain things have to be removed. Not because you are not worthy of them, but because they are not worthy of where you are going. Not because you failed, but because they do not fit the next level of your life. Not because you are losing, but because you are being guided towards something better. So instead of holding on tighter, consider loosening your grip. Instead of trying to control the outcome, consider surrendering to the process. Instead of seeing it as something being taken from you, consider that it might be something being taken away for your good. Because alignment is not always gentle. Sometimes it comes in the form of endings, of changes, of unexpected shifts. But every time something leaves that is not meant for you, it brings you one step closer to what is. And what is meant for you will not require you to force it, to chase it, to convince it to stay. It will meet you in your alignment. It will flow with your growth. It will complement who you are becoming. So trust what is leaving, even if you don't understand it, even if it hurts, even if it feels like loss. Because sometimes what feels like loss is actually the clearest sign that your life is coming into alignment in ways you never imagined. Letting go is one of the most misunderstood parts of growth, because it feels like you are giving something up when in reality you are making space for something greater. It feels like emptiness, like something is missing, like a piece of your life has been taken away. But what you don't always see in that moment is that your hands cannot receive what is meant for you if they are already full. You cannot step into a new season while carrying the weight of the old one. There are things in your life right now that once served you, once comforted you, once felt right, but growth has a way of changing your needs, your vision, your direction, and what once fit you perfectly may now feel tight, restrictive, even suffocating. Still, you hold on, not because it still fits, but because it once did. And letting go of something that used to feel right can feel like betraying your own story. But growth is not betrayal. Growth is evolution. You are not meant to stay the same. You are not meant to keep the same mindset, the same habits, the same connections if they are no longer aligned with who you are becoming. And yet, so many people delay their own elevation because they are afraid to release what feels familiar. Familiarity can be comforting, even when it is limiting. It can feel safe, even when it is keeping you stuck. There is a version of your life that requires a different version of you. A version of you that is stronger, clearer, more disciplined, more aligned. But that version cannot emerge if you are still holding on to things that belong to your past self. Every level of growth requires a level of release. Every new blessing requires space. You've been asking for more peace, more success, more clarity, more purpose. But more does not come by adding on top of what is already there. Sometimes, more comes by subtracting. By removing what is unnecessary, what is draining, what is distracting you from your path, letting go is not about losing something valuable. It is about recognizing what is no longer valuable for where you are going. There are relationships that once felt like home but now feel like pressure. There are habits that once felt harmless but now hold you back. There are environments that once felt comfortable but now limit your potential. And deep down, you know it. You feel it in the way your energy shifts, in the way your spirit becomes restless, in the way your peace is disturbed. But knowing something and acting on it are two different things. Because letting go requires courage. It requires you to step into uncertainty. It requires you to trust that what is ahead is worth the discomfort of release. And that is not always easy, especially when you cannot yet see what is coming next. You may find yourself asking, what if I let go and nothing better comes? That question is rooted in fear, not truth. Because what is meant for you cannot come into a space that is already occupied by what is not. You are not creating emptiness by letting go. You are creating opportunity. Think about it. When a room is cluttered, you cannot bring in anything new until you clear out what is already there. The same applies to your life. Emotional clutter, mental clutter, relational clutter. All of it takes up space. And until you make room, you cannot fully receive what is waiting for you. Letting go is an act of faith. It is a declaration that you trust there is more for you, even if you cannot see it yet. It is a decision to release control and allow your life to unfold in a way that is aligned with your purpose, not just your comfort. And sometimes what you are holding on to is not even serving you anymore. It is just familiar. It is just what you know. It is just what you have gotten used to. But comfort is not the same as calling. Familiarity is not the same as calling. Familiarity is not the same as fulfillment. You were not created to live a life that is just okay. You were not meant to settle for things that drain you, confuse you, or hold you back. You were meant to grow, to expand, to evolve into the fullest version of yourself. And that requires letting go of anything that contradicts that growth. It's not about perfection. It's about alignment. Alignment means choosing what supports your future over what satisfies your present fears. It means being honest about what is helping you grow and what is keeping you stuck. It means being willing to release even the things you once loved, if they are no longer part of your journey. And yes, it can hurt. Letting go is not easy, especially when emotions are involved, especially when memories are attached, especially when you invested time, energy, and hope into something. But pain does not mean you are making the wrong decision. Sometimes pain is simply the cost of growth. You cannot become who you are meant to be without leaving behind who you used to be. And that includes the things, the people, the patterns that were connected to that version of you. There is a reason you feel the pull to move forward. There is a reason certain things no longer satisfy you the way they used to. There is a reason your spirit feels restless in places where it once felt comfortable. That is growth calling you higher. But growth will not force you. It will invite you. It will nudge you. It will show you signs. But ultimately, you have to make the decision to let go. And when you do, something shifts. You begin to feel lighter. You begin to gain clarity. You begin to see possibilities that were always there, but were hidden beneath the weight of what you were holding on to. You begin to attract things that are more aligned with your energy, your purpose, your direction. Because when you let go, you create space, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. Space for new ideas, new connections, new opportunities. Space for peace, Space for growth. You stop forcing things that are not meant to work, and you start allowing things that are meant for you to flow naturally. You stop chasing what is not aligned, and you start attracting what is. That is the power of release. It is not weakness. It is strength. It is not giving up. It is leveling up. There are blessings waiting for you that require a version of you that is not weighed down by the past. There are doors waiting to open that you cannot walk through if you are still holding on to what is behind you. There are opportunities that require your full presence, your full attention, your full energy. And if your energy is tied up in what you should have let go of, you will miss what is trying to come into your life. So you have a choice. Why? You can continue to hold on, to stay where you are, to keep things the way they have been. Or you can choose to trust, to release, to make space for something greater. You can choose familiarity, or you can choose growth. You can choose comfort, or you can choose comfort. You can choose to stay the same, or you can choose to evolve. And evolution requires letting go. Not everything you lose is meant to be replaced with something identical. Sometimes, what comes next is completely different, better in ways you could not have imagined, more aligned than anything you have experienced before. But you will never know that if you refuse to release what is no longer meant for you. So let go of the things that drain you. Let go of the expectations that limit you. Let go of the expectations that limit you. Let go of the fear that keeps you stuck. Let go of the past that no longer defines you. Make space. Because what is meant for you is not trying to escape you. It is waiting for you to be ready to receive it. Trusting the process sounds simple when everything is going well, when the path is clear, when life feels stable and predictable. But real trust is not built in those moments. Real trust is revealed when things don't make sense, when the direction feels uncertain, when the outcomes you expected don't happen the way you planned. That is where trust is tested. Not in clarity, but in confusion. There will be seasons in your life where you don't have answers, where you don't know why something ended, why a door closed, why an opportunity slipped away. And your mind will try to fill in the gaps. It will search for logic, for reasons, for explanations that make you feel in control again. But not everything in your life is meant to be understood immediately. Some things are meant to be trusted before they are understood. And that is difficult because as human beings, we crave certainty. We want to know where we are owing how things will turn out, and when everything will finally make sense. We want guarantees before we take steps. We want clarity before we move forward. But life doesn't always work that way. Growth doesn't always come with a clear map. Sometimes, all you have is a sense, a quiet knowing that you need to keep going, even when you can't see the full picture. Trusting the process means moving forward without having all the details. It means believing that even the parts you don't understand are serving a purpose. It means accepting that there's a bigger plan unfolding. Even when your current situation feels like a setback, there are moments when everything feels like it's falling apart. When things you counted on are no longer there. When the path you are on suddenly changes direction. And in those moments, it's easy to feel like you are losing control of your life. It's easy to think that something has gone wrong. But what if things are not falling apart? What if they are falling into place? What if the detours, the delays, the disruptions are not obstacles, but redirections? What if they are guiding you towards something that you could not have reached otherwise? Trusting the process requires a shift in perspective. It requires you to stop seeing every challenge as a problem and start seeing it as part of your development. Because every experience, good or bad, is shaping you. It is teaching you, strengthening you, preparing you. You may not understand why you had to go through certain things, but those experiences are building something within you. Resilience, wisdom, discernment, strength, qualities that you will need for where you are going. If everything in your life happened exactly the way you wanted, you would not grow in the same way. You would not develop the same depth, the same strength, the same awareness. Sometimes the very things you wish you could avoid are the things that shape you the most. But it's hard to see that when you're in the middle of it. When you're in the middle of uncertainty, it can feel like you are stuck, like you are not making progress, like you are moving in circles without any clear direction. And that can be frustrating. It can make you question whether you are on the right path at all. But progress is not always visible. Growth is not always obvious. Sometimes the most important changes are happening internally, in ways that you cannot measure or see right away. You are learning patience. You are learning to trust yourself. You are learning to let go of control. You are learning to stand firm, even when things feel unstable. And those lessons matter. They are not wasted. Trusting the process means believing that nothing you go through is meaningless. That every step, every delay, every challenge is contributing to something greater. It also means letting go of the need to control everything. Control gives the illusion of safety. It makes you feel like if you just plan enough, think enough, prepare enough, you can avoid uncertainty. But the truth is, you cannot control everything. And trying to do so will only exhaust you. There are things in your life that are beyond your control. Timing, other people's decisions, unexpected changes. These are all part of life. And the more you try to control them, the more frustrated you will become. Trusting the process means releasing that need for control and learning to flow with what is happening, rather than constantly resisting it. That doesn't mean you become passive. It doesn't mean you stop putting in effort or stop making decisions. It means you do your part, but you also accept that there are factors beyond your control, and you trust that they are working in your favor. There is a balance between effort and surrender. Take action where you can. You make choices that align with your values and your goals. But you also trust that the outcome is not entirely up to you, and that trust brings peace. Because when you trust, you stop overthinking every detail. You stop second-guessing every step. You stop trying to force things to happen on your timeline. You begin to understand that timing matters. Just because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't. Just because something didn't work out the first time doesn't mean it never will. Sometimes, things are delayed because they are not ready yet, or because you are not ready yet. And that's not a failure. That's preparation. There are things you are asking for that require a certain level of readiness, a certain mindset, a certain level of growth, a certain level of awareness. And if you received them too early, you might not be able to handle them in the way they are meant to be handled. So the process is not just about getting to the destination. It's about becoming the person who can sustain it once you get there. Trusting the process means understanding that where you are right now is part of that preparation. Even if it feels slow, even if it feels uncertain, even if it feels uncomfortable. It also means not comparing your journey to others. It's easy to look at other people and feel like they are ahead, like they have things figured out, like their path is clearer than yours. But you don't know their full story. You don't know what they've gone through, what they're dealing with, or what their journey requires. Your path is unique to you. Your timing is specific to your life. And comparing yourself to others will only distract you from your own growth. Trusting the process means focusing on your journey, not someone else's. It means honoring your pace, your progress, your path. There will be days when your faith feels strong, when you feel confident that everything is working out. And there will be days when doubt creeps in, when you question everything, when you feel like giving up. That's part of the process too. Trust is not about never having doubts. It's about not letting those doubts control your decisions. It's about choosing to keep going even when you don't feel certain. It's about reminding yourself that you have made it through difficult moments before, that you have faced uncertainty before and found your way through it, that you are capable of navigating what is in front of you even if you don't have all the answers right now. You are not as lost as you feel. You are not as far off track as you think. Sometimes the path is not straight. Sometimes it curves, it shifts, it takes unexpected turns. But that doesn't mean you are going in the wrong direction. It just means the journey is unfolding in a way that you did not anticipate. And that's okay, because some of the best things in life come in ways you didn't expect. Opportunities you didn't plan for. Connections you didn't see coming. Breakthroughs that happen when you least expect them. But you have to stay open to that. You have to stay willing to trust, even when the path is unclear. Because clarity often comes after movement, not before. You don't always get a full picture before you take a step. Sometimes, the picture becomes clearer as you move forward, as you take action, as you continue to show up, even when you don't have everything figured out. Trusting the process means taking that step anyway. It means believing that even if you can't see the entire staircase, the next step is enough. It means understanding that you are being guided even when you can't see where the path leads. And that guidance is not random. It is not accidental. There is intention behind it. There is purpose behind it, even in the moments that feel confusing. Even in the moments that feel like setbacks. Even in the moments that make you question everything. There is something being built, something being aligned, something being prepared. And one day, you will look back and see how it all connected. How the things that didn't make sense at the time were actually leading you exactly where you needed to be. How the delays protected you. How the detours redirected you. How the challenges strengthened you. But you don't have that perspective yet. Right now, all you have is this moment. This step. This part of the journey. And in this moment, your job is not to have all the answers. It's not to understand everything. It's not to control every outcome. Your job is to trust that you are not alone in this, to trust that your life is unfolding with purpose, to trust that even when you don't understand, there is something greater at work, to trust that every step you take, even the uncertain ones, are leading you somewhere meaningful. When you step back and look at everything you've been through, the changes, the endings, the moments that didn't make sense, you begin to realize that none of it was random. Every loss, every delay, every door that closed was shaping you, preparing you, aligning you with a life that is greater than what you once imagined. What felt like rejection was protection. What felt like emptiness was actually space being created. What felt like confusion was the beginning of clarity you couldn't yet see. You were never meant to carry everything with you. Some things had to fall away so you could rise. Some people had to leave so you could discover your strength. Some paths had to end so you could find the one that was truly yours. And even though it hurt, even though it challenged you, it was all working in your favor. Growth asked you to release. F asked you to trust. And through it all, you are becoming someone stronger, wiser, more aligned with your purpose than ever before. You are no longer the person who settles, who clings to what isn't right, who fears the unknown. You are stepping into a version of yourself that understands that everything happening is leading you somewhere meaningful. So instead of resisting what is leaving, you welcome what is coming. Instead of fearing the unknown, you embrace it. Instead of holding on to what no longer serves you, you open your hands with confidence, knowing that what is meant for you will always find its way to you. And as you move forward, you carry this truth with you, that nothing meant for you will ever miss you, and everything that is truly yours will arrive at the right time, in the right way, exactly when you are ready to receive it.